You were fanned out and you begged niggas to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. Mase actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Mase taught me how to rap.
You say it. We taught you how to rap. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomat. You ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan.
I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down.
Since that crazy moment when Mase and Camron went directly after Jim Jones on their podcast, which turned a routine episode into a full-fledged battle, with everyone leaning closer to hear every word, the streets have been humming. Because they weren't whispering or sugarcoating anything when they spoke about Jim, the entire internet was spinning. They were evoking recollections from the past as if they were retrieving documents from an unlocked cabinet. They portrayed Jim as someone who wasn't always the fearless, muscular Harlem character he is now. However, there was once a person who battled for a place only to be in the same room with them. It was odd to hear legends speak like that, particularly when they implied that Jim used to pursue the crew in an attempt to get stamped in. The energy was simultaneously electrifying, petty, and tense. The streets were astounded by how rapidly things got out of control. They were laughing one moment and then dropping phrases that caused everyone to pause and rewind. As in, pause. Was that what they actually said? It was more than just shade. This was like old wounds suddenly coming to the surface.
You're a guardian angel and designer. What the f is you talking about, man? You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man. Do you remember how we met? Pause. So not met, how you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. And you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house. You said, yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit. More freestyles come out. Y'all heard the new shit you did. Children of the Corn, 12-minute freestyle. Mase, Camron, Cardan, DJ Clue. Google Bloodshed and Camron, Children of the Corn freestyle. Are you at any of these places? No, you was not there, man. You wasn't there.
The storytelling got even sharper, and Mase started laying out tales that sounded way too detailed to be jokes.
Mase needed to go on a diet. He needed to get his life together. He needed to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back ass. He looked big around the neck, waist looked crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He needed to go get his shit together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me.
Yeah, listen, man, listen.
He gave the impression that Jim wasn't making decisions in the beginning. He was waiting for someone to give him a chance as he stood on the sidelines. By talking smooth and laughing in that soothing Harlem style that lets you know he's not playing, Cam added gasoline. They didn't merely clown Jim, even though he sounds like he is. Before Dipset took off, they removed a tough image and made it appear as though he was pleading for attention. Nobody anticipated this degree of unvarnished honesty from the two individuals who came up with him, so the comment section went crazy. Additionally, the atmosphere changed as if someone had turned down the lights when Cam mentioned that Jim used to look up to them in every area. As if these weren't jokes, listeners could sense the tension via the screen. These were recollections that had been revived with a different mindset. The entire community was left wondering how deep the beef is and why these stories are emerging at this particular time. Yes, when everyone believed that the old drama in Harlem had completely subsided.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, a fan. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem and everything. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? From Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem.
They know what I've done. Dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem.
Get out of here.
Every nigga that put hands on you or you get to take you cool with them. You tried to chase French Montana out the game, that ain't work out. Y'all got cool. So cool that you go to his video shoot, pardon me, not his video shoot, his movie. You're sitting in the crowd watching the premiere and they dissing you in the movie. You in the movie getting this, and you gotta eat it, just sitting in the crowd. Nah, they dissing you in the movie that you went to go see, bro.
When they boldly stated that Jim was nobody in the beginning and that all of his actions happened after being around them. It was the moment that truly caused the internet to freeze. Because it affected his pride, his history, and his legacy all at once, it struck the timeline like a brick. The kind of hit that causes fans to quarrel for hours on end, since everyone has a different memory of Dipset. The absurd thing is that they said it with such composure. It's as if they've been keeping this card for years before deciding to play it. Additionally, everything sounded much more insulting because of the laughter that broke up the stories. They couldn't help but bring up the embarrassing recollections as if they weren't just real.
Shit ain't no game. They can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much to worry about, too much to do.
Stop tricking out their freedom, bro. This is gonna be the last time I address this. Whatever you got to say after this, good luck. I wish you luck. I got other shit to do. This is not on my motherfucking place. Believe what you want to believe because I got other things to do. You feel me, Murder? I ain't want to snap one of them nose, but yeah, I'm good.
Here goes some popcorn stats.
Online users began dissecting past videos and interviews in an attempt to determine what was real and what was just Harlem ego showing off for fun. However, their voices didn't have a light-hearted tone. It was like old unresolved stuff coming to the surface again. And it came with the kind of assurance that comes only from those who genuinely think they created the entire movement from the ground up. You are aware.
You know, the internet gets kind of crazy with the lies. The lies are going crazy on the internet.
I mean, well, the lies start from a narrative, and the narrative starts from a person, and you just got to look at it like that. But I've never been one in my life to care about clearing up no rumors. Like, that just takes time out of my day from making money. I know who I am. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I stand 10 toes down on everything I believe in. I don't change my pivot, and everybody knows that. I mean, as you can see, I would not be here if I did anything else but be me.
I was at Jim album release party, and everybody was over there with Jim, and Cam is standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. There's no Dipset without Jim. Jim is the gangbanger of the crew. Cam is not a blood. I don't even know if Jewels was. I doubt Freaky was, right? But the set, it comes from the gang shit. Right? All the gang all ran under Jim.
Right.
All of the muscle was Jim. That wasn't Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Cam was like the Jay-Z.
Cam was the artist. Jim and Cam were partners, so to speak. But Jim took the role of being the underboss, the muscle, to make sure that Cam could function and move around and not have a bad reputation, or you be getting robbed and all this other stuff. So Jim put he stood front line for anything in regards to Cam, and then he put Dipset in front of Cam.
Cam and Jim history go back before me. You understand what I'm saying? When I met Cam and Jim, they were super close. So I honestly don't really know Jim being from the Bronx and all that. You know what I'm saying? When I met them, they was in 5H, which is, you know what I'm saying, Jim's apartment, and that's, you know, like, I guess that time was after all the stuff Cam had said already with the Children of the Corn and Jim, you know, whatever he said, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when I got there, Cam and Jim was like this, super tight. Mase wasn't even in the picture. I don't know Mase like that, you know what I'm saying? Every time I seen Mase, it's been a mutual, you know what I'm saying, respect there. So, you know, that's what that's been as far as me and Mase, you know what I'm saying? As far as, yeah, when I met Cam and Jim, they were already Trump tight and locked in. You understand what I'm saying? The Diplomats was already a name they had. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit there and claim I made the dip, so that's not something I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I made Dipset though, the two. Yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying?
The real shock, however, came when they sent what appeared to be a last warning, stating unequivocally that they were prepared to reveal even more vault stories if Jim continued to speak smoothly in interviews. A warning from Mase and Cam is not something that is taken lightly, so that statement alone had everyone sit up straight.
The wedge that came between Cam and Jim is Jim's success. Cam always looked at him as being the star, Jim being capo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's kind of like Sammy the Bull becoming John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Gotti's probably gonna feel a little way if Sammy becomes the main man. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, that's what it is. Jim started to grow as an artist. And as he started to grow as an artist, he started moving from standing behind Cam to he started standing next to Cam. And then it got to a point where he stood in front of Cam. Mm-hmm. And Cam was looking him over his shoulder like, yo, what you doing? And then that built the animosity. And by the time Ballin' hit, Cam had a gang of animosity and internal hatred. And I know because I seen it, I was there. I felt like he was a fucking hater because like I felt like he was supposed to be happy for Jim. He was under the wing. Jim was the muscle. You get what I'm saying? Jim he's Cam's partner. But he's taking a step back to play.
Jim was reminded that history has layers and that the early chapters are contained in them, as if they were painting a line in the sand. It had a crisp yet silky tone. They speak in a way that, without raising their voices, makes it clear that they mean every word. It was unclear to the audience if this was entertainment or a real gunshot. In any case, it disrupted talks in Harlem for days. People were always speculating about the possibility that they still possessed stories that may damage Jim's reputation. It was made much more emotional by the way Cam leaned into the microphone and spoke as if he were directly addressing Jim. Under the studio lights, the street energy, serene threats, pride, and old memories all clashed like a storm about to blow up again. The streets were already ablaze with discussions, responses, and hypotheses regarding what drove Mase and Cam to this point by the time the episode ended. Joking around is one thing, but their tone seemed to be the culmination of years of swallowing pride. Additionally, they didn't yell or push the situation during the wild phase. Even though it sounds lighthearted, they just spoke with that Harlem assurance that has weight. Fans from all walks of life could sense that this wasn't just a random tirade. This was the transformation of old loyalty into fresh smoke, the kind that doesn't go away gently. Nobody knows if Jim will react or ignore it. In any case, the strain is like static in the air before lightning strikes. There was more to this episode than just entertainment. A chapter of Harlem history that many believed was permanently closed was reopened, and things could grow considerably louder if more stories are released. The world is still waiting to see who will speak next, since this story is far from over. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoy in-depth narratives like this one in order to maintain this enthusiasm.